We are inside Rupp Arena, getting set for the #1 ranked Kentucky Wildcats at 17-0, 4-0 in SEC play against the Commodores at 11-6, 1-3 in conference play. Dave Neal alongside former South Carolina coach Darren Horn and Kaylee Hartung on the sidelines here in Lexington, Kentucky. Glad you could join us. After Georgia took care of business at home against Ole Miss, we'll see what Kentucky has in store here at home against these Doors. Here's Willie Cauley-Stein. Harrison. Nice pass inside to Towns. He gets the first basket of the game.
After a couple near losses in their first 2 games, Kentucky's played better, mostly because they've been better defensively, but also because they've made a concentrated effort to start games attacking the basket on the interior. It was a good finish by Karl Anthony Towns on the slip.
A lot of NBA scouts in the building tonight, looking, of course, at some Kentucky players, but also Damian Jones for the Vanderbilt Commodores, averaging 16 points and 7 rebounds.
See how Vanderbilt's got multiple guys above the foul line and a spaced floor.
Traveling violation. There was only 1 second on the shot clock. So Baldwin just launched it up, and a turnover by Vanderbilt.
Nice job coming off the ball screen. Andrew Harrison finds Towns on the slip. Damian Jones has got to be over and plug the middle of the floor. He's going to be a rim protector for Vandy, who was late.
Andrew Harrison gets a screen. Off the back of the iron, tapped around, and taken by Roberson. Baldwin back the other way. Fournette threw it away. Back-to-back turnovers. This is a Vanderbilt team that comes in 9th in the conference, almost 14 turnovers a game. They played well at Arkansas a couple weeks ago. Ended up losing that game, but it was a tight ball game. Turnovers doomed Vanderbilt. They shot over 50%, but had 22 turnovers.
Well, they started out the exact same way. 4 straight turnovers in that game. Got down double digits and then got back to within 1 in the second half. This is a young Vanderbilt team, one of the youngest in college basketball.
2 of the youngest on the court between Kentucky and Vanderbilt. Willie Cauley-Stein. Harrison. Back to Towns. Cauley-Stein goes up strong. A 3rd chance. John Calipari now in his 6th year. His 100th game coached inside Rupp Arena and has only lost 4 games. He started his Kentucky career with a 54-game home winning streak.
I was an English major, Dave, but I think if he wins tonight, he'll have a 96% winning percentage here in Rupp.
I'd say it's pretty good.
Well, Karl Anthony Towns at the line right now, Dave. Had a chance to visit with this young man after practice earlier today and talked about his improved play in the post. And he said, you know, to be honest with you, I'm just more comfortable on the interior with the physical play and multiple hands digging at the basketball. And he's trying to create the contact instead of letting it come to him, and it's shown early in this game.
Here's the chance. Willie Cauley-Stein reaches over Fournette. Kevin Stallings today knew it was a big task in front of his guys. Felt like his offense just hasn't been working to his expectations or liking. They have to be near flawless tonight if they want to pull this off.
You know, and a big reason for that is, in a word, youth. This is a young team that is now into league play, and teams are taking away first options, and you got to learn to play through the second one and play through some physical play, and have not quite figured that out just yet, and this is a bad environment to try to get that going.
Here's Jones trying to get his touch. Knocked out of there. Solid half-court defense from Kentucky. Towns, face-up jumper. Right into the hands of LaChance. Vanderbilt's had the basketball 3 times, and they have turned it over all 3 occasions. Dominique Hawkins all over Baldwin.
We hear so many times about the length of Kentucky, and we immediately assume it's the interior, but that length on the perimeter makes it hard to make clean passes as well. Vanderbilt struggled with that early.
Vandy finally gets a shot up off the mark from Cornette. Hawkins got it. They don't expect a whole lot of offense out of Dominique, but he starts knocking those down. Watch out. 7-0 Wildcats.
Did a nice job of getting all the way down to the corner for good floor spacing. Great kick by Andrew Harrison.
LaChance answers the Hawkins three with one of his own.
And Dave, for those that have not seen Vanderbilt play this year, the leading freshman scorer in the SEC does not wear a Kentucky jersey. It's that young man, Riley LaChance.
Chance averaging 13.5 points a game. Cauley Stein had a block by Jones. Baldwin to Cornette. He'll dump it inside. Boy, Cauley Stein throwing his body all over this Rupp Arena floor. As Coach Calipari goes with the platoon substitution.
Well, Willie Cauley-Stein, I think the best defender in all of college basketball, and it's because of little plays like that. Yes, he blocks shots. Yes, he steals the basketball. In fact, leads this Kentucky team in steals, but he does so many little things on the defensive end.
So now it's Ulis, Booker, Lee, Dakari Johnson on the floor for Kentucky. Along with Lyles. Shot clock again into single digits. Cornette can't get it to go. Nice cut by LaChance. And a foul on the inside as Roberson slashes to the basket. Good ball movement by Vanderbilt on that possession. But Kentucky off to a good start. They lead it by 4. 7-3 here in Lexington. Back in a moment. Presented by Cree LED Lighting. As you look at Coach Calipari, who has been so kind to wear a microphone for us tonight. He is mic'd up. Let's listen in.
Why would you drive baseline? It kicks out. You got the whole middle of the court. Now, hey, why'd you drive baseline? Go middle. Make plays. You go middle, you're going to find somebody. Come on, man. You're messing with pick and rolls. Come off them. Hey. Get outside the guy and go.
There you go. Coach Cal working it for us. We'll be checking in with him throughout the course of the evening.
And if you're a player, that's what you want to hear. You got a coach telling you to go make plays. That's music to a player's ears.
Roberson's free throw makes it a 7-4 game. Lyles cuts to the basket. Great pass up top from Dakari Johnson.
Good execution out of the timeout to lift Vanderbilt up the floor, throw over top of it. Got a big man dumping it down inside.
Baldwin misfires for the three. Lyles trying to return the favor to Dakari Johnson. Dakari spins on Siakam. Loose ball down on the deck. Knocked out of bounds by Kentucky to belong to Vanderbilt.
A good interior passing on this play. Dakari Johnson, little dump over the top as Lyles comes off the back screen. Good screen by Marcus Lee. Frees up Lyles for the easy lay-in. You know, Kentucky's bigs, outstanding interior passes. Really share the basketball well together.
Let's check in with Kaylee Hartung on the sidelines tonight.
Dave, that move you saw inside, that's exactly what Coach Cal was talking to his team about in that last huddle. He wants them to keep using their physicality, making the most of it inside.
They certainly are a team that is a mismatch for most. Their physical presence all over the floor, not just down in the paint, causing problems. Matter of fact, Vanderbilt is getting a little taste of it right now. They have not attempted a two-point shot yet tonight. Jones tried to throw one down. I think Lee might have gotten a piece of that basketball. The shot clock reset. They're going to call a foul underneath on Lee on a hold.
This was almost a dunk attempt out of frustration.
And that ball never hit the rim, and it reset the shot clock. Doesn't matter now after the foul. He just threw it right over the sill. Siakam. Blocked by Lee. Here's Ulis back the other way. Ulis averaging almost 6 points a game, 56 assists, just 15 turnovers. First in the SEC in that assist-to-turnover ratio. They're lining up for three. But he continues his hot shooting behind the arc. He and Booker have been tearing it up.
Those two have been so crucial, especially in the last couple games, with their ability to knock down the perimeter shot. Puts a lot of pressure on defenses when they're making them from the outside. Now that opens it up even more for Dakari Johnson in this platoon to go to work on the block.
Ulis hit 3 out of 4 against Alabama.
Vanderbilt having a really hard time getting into any offense because of Kentucky's pressure.
It'll belong to Vanderbilt, but only 6 on the shot clock. Boy, the crowd loving the defensive effort. Listen to him here at Rupp. All the way through the lane. No shot. They're going to wave it off. It looked like that may have been out of the hand before the shot clock expired. But it'll go down as a turnover, the 4th of the game.
And you see the drive by Baldwin and the little flip. Awful close. No red light on the shot clock. That's just the game clock.
Here's Lyles. Took an extra step. Well, Wednesday, the SEC ESPN Network brings you an SEC basketball doubleheader. First up, the sharpshooting Missouri Tigers look for a road win against Texas A&M. That's coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern. Then Mississippi State and Auburn take the court at 9 Eastern exclusively right here on the SEC ESPN Network and the Watch ESPN app.
Texas A&M looking to build on a huge win at LSU on Saturday. They came back from 13 down in that game to get the victory. Daniel House, huge down the stretch for the Aggies.
Kicked basketball. Reset the shot clock to 15.
One of the things that we're seeing from Vanderbilt, this is a team, because of the scheduling change with no divisionals play in men's basketball now, nobody on this team has played in Rupp Arena. Henderson a little bit a couple years ago, but nobody that's going to get significant minutes tonight has played in this building.
Fisher Davis, a great stroke, knocks that one home. 12-7. Johnson back the other way. Here's the chance. Boy, Marcus Lee with the long arms. Pokes it away. Booker back the other way. To Johnson. He lays it in.
Transition turnovers almost always lead to baskets on the other end. Riley LaChance, it looked like it was open. We had the same exact angle he did, and Marcus Lee came out of nowhere. That's where that Kentucky length really creates problems for opponents.
Here's Mitchell. Off to Matthew Fisher Davis. Josh Henderson, the redshirt senior, spins. The jump hook is good. 6'11" post player out of Roanoke, Virginia. It'll belong to Vanderbilt.
Kentucky getting it done with defense yet again tonight. Marcus Lee with the deflection. Sharing the basketball, the recipient on the other end, Dakari Johnson.
Well, you look at what Kentucky has done defensively. It has been an amazing story unfolding here. The numbers speak for themselves. And you hear coaches all the time talk about defense wins championships. For more on that, let's check in with Kaylee Harton.
Well, David, nobody's falling down for us. Kentucky's Devin Booker told me that was the realization he and his teammates came to after that overtime game against Ole Miss and then the double OT game at Texas A&M. He told me the players talked. They agreed that a renewed focus on shutting down their opponents defensively was the key. Coach Cal said he has seen that difference in their effort and commitment on defense, and you're seeing it at work here tonight.
An impressive display, a great team effort tonight for Kentucky. They have 5 field goals by 5 different guys, and all 5 of those field goals have been assisted.
Well, I think the biggest part of that is they're letting their energy on the defensive end. As Kaylee mentioned, drive how they play on the offensive end. It leads to unselfish basketball because it takes unselfish commitment to defend at the level that they are right now.
Hawkins had it stripped out of his hands. Listen, as poorly as Vanderbilt played to start this game with 4 turnovers early, they're only 2 possessions down here.
And one of the reasons for that is a couple of turnovers for Kentucky in the last few possessions.
Siakam with the throwdown off the assist from Mitchell.
Got a 1-possession game.
10:56 to go, opening half. Dave Neal, Darren Horn, Kaylee Hartung from Rupp Arena. The 7-2 Commodore run. Aaron Harrison, baseline. Off to Hawkins. Now Andrew, pull up at the elbow. Short. Hawkins tries to save it. Scooped up by Baldwin. Off to Siakam. Fisher Davis has that blocked by Cauley Stein. One of those intangible plays.
Are you serious? 7 foot running the floor, blocks a 3 coming from behind. He's not even in the picture yet. And this young man makes so many outstanding defensive plays with great effort and athleticism.
Fisher Davis off to Baldwin now. Mitchell. Henderson's follow won't go. Hawkins trips up Big Josh, and there's a bump at the free throw line. That'll go against Mitchell. That'll be his first.
That was Mitchell. That's his first and the team's third.
Kentucky, 5 of 13 from the floor. Vanderbilt, 4 of 13. Damian Jones back on the floor for Henderson. Good catch by Towns. Andrew Harrison, 7th in the conference in assists with 70 dimes on the year. 34 turnovers, trying to find some help offensively. Here's Cauley Stein. Shot clock hits 10. Lobs it up for Towns. Good defensive stand by Vanderbilt.
Outstanding defense and a good job to take away the lob at the end of it by Damian Jones.
Siakam, pump fake, fouled. He'll head to the free throw line.
Well, that's what you got to do against this Kentucky team. You got to find a way to get them in the air and then take the ball to their body, create the contact. If you try to shoot over them, it's not going to happen. Too many 7-footers flying around in there. That was a nice job by James Siakam.
Towns picks up the foul, his first. Siakam knocks it home, 14-12. That'll lead us to this Friday right here on the SEC ESPN Network. A little women's college gymnastics. 7th-ranked Alabama looking for the upset as they host the #1 ranked team in America, the Florida Gators, 8 o'clock Eastern time, only here on the SEC ESPN Network. Catch it also on the Watch ESPN app.
Well, Dave, you and I have had Kentucky several times so far, and so important when you get opportunities like Siakam just had. You've got to come away with something positive and put some points on the board because you're not going to get a ton of opportunities at the rim against this Kentucky team.
Vandy's bench has produced 9 of their 13 points. It's a 9-2 Commodore run. Johnson will try it again. Dakari, 3 black jerseys surround him. Finally a foul. Let's see who picks that up. I believe it might be Siakam. That'll be his first.
Dakari Johnson, an outstanding offensive rebounder. One of the reasons is he gets it on the rim and gets back up before the defense does. I still think if you're throwing the ball in the block and you're Kentucky, back to the basket score, Dakari Johnson still the most developed. Anthony Towns is coming on. Dakari Johnson pretty reliable in there on the block.
Dakari 59% at the free throw line. Missed them both. Here's a chance for Vanderbilt to take the lead as we approach the 9-minute mark here in the opening half. Loose ball, Siakam gets it to Mitchell. That one's blocked by Johnson. Knocked out of bounds. It'll belong to Vandy with 15 on the shot clock.
Well, they're all going to be blocked if Mitchell keeps driving it in like that and trying to finish over top of those bigs. He's got to kick that out or find a way to get to the shot blocker's body.
Look at Big Dakari outrunning Damian Jones for the throwdown.
Credit straight coach Rock Oliver with that basket. I'm not sure Dakari Johnson could have got to that ball this time last year. Vandy's bench right now contributing more than their starters. 9 points to 4. Got to find a way to get Damian Jones going.
Jones, entry pass, poked out of there. Here's Siakam. Shot clock at 7. Siakam gets it to Jones. In and out, no good. Rebound Lee. Booker hangs in the air. Got the friendly roll.
That's only Kentucky's 6th point in 6 minutes, and 4 of them, the last 2 buckets, have come in transition off of great defense.
Cats by 5. Here's Mitchell, hounded by Ulis. Lost his shoe. Mitchell lost his shoe. Knocked out of bounds. It'll be Vandy basketball. Need to tighten up the laces on that one. But how about Dakari Johnson, the big fella, in a foot race? That's 7 feet, 255 coming right at you.
Play him! Hand, don't foul, hand! Get your hands up! Up! Play him! Done!
That's great stuff. Coach Cal mic'd up for us tonight. He was playing some pretty good D, I thought, right then.
He's got to move his feet a little bit better, but what I want to know is the manager on the bench going to give him a deflection for that? He earned it.
Boy, what a job he's done here at Kentucky. You know, you go back over his career, this is the 4th time a Coach Cal team has started 17-0. Here's Cornette. 7-footer back on the floor. Gets it to Baldwin. Pounded by Ulis. Boy, has that one sent right back to him as the shot clock expired. Let's check in with Kaylee Hartung.
Well, Dave, Coach Cal says if you're not sprinting the floor, you're not playing. I've got other guys I can play instead of you. We saw some serious effort from Dakari Johnson a couple minutes ago with that dunk at the other end of the floor. Well, the timeout before that, he was on him for his effort. He says now it's better, but he wants to see more from him and everybody else on the floor.
Foul against Vanderbilt. Kevin Stallings thought there should have been a tie-up. Not going to get it. That goes against Roberson. That'll be his first. Freshman out of Houston, Texas. Lyles to the free throw line. Here's a guy they'd like to see a little bit more out of. The freshman out of Indianapolis, averaging shy of 8 points, 5 rebounds, 68% at the line.
Trey Lyles stepped into essentially Alex Poythress' spot when the junior went down with the knee injury. And very capable offensively. There you see Alex. Good to see him back in the arena.
I'll be interested to see what Alex decides to do at the conclusion of this year, to see work himself and possibly put his name in the NBA draft, or does he come back and try to regroup?
I think like with most young men, it's probably going to come down to where does he see himself going? What are the projections for his draft status?
Here's Willie Cauley-Stein. 7 Vanderbilt turnovers. Ulis playing with some shin splints. Also seen him today with a heating pad on that back. A little banged up for the youngster.
At only $1.55, he's going to get knocked around a little bit here in league play.
Here's the follow by Jones. That one stuck, but a foul in the process. Towns didn't like it. Coach Cal didn't like it. But free throws coming up for Damian Jones.
And Roberson trying to get to the rim, gets deflected. Jones cleans it up. Draws the foul. Looks pretty clean from that angle.
Jones in and out. Really struggled at the line against Mississippi State. Still finished with 21 points. Was 9 of 13 from the field. 3 out of 11 against the Bulldogs.
You see the graphic, normally an almost 70% free throw shooter. Now comes in and misses those two. A little hangover from the Mississippi State game. It's one of the things he's got to learn to start playing through. Put the last game behind him and go into the next game. It's a fresh start.
Well, that was a big-time shot from Trey Lyles. High arching. Nothing but net. Cornette. Off to Jones. He spins. Damian, that's a big-time move. Got that one to go in front of Johnson and Cauley-Stein. That ends a 7-0 Kentucky run.
Quick move for such a big fella on the inside. Nice left hand at the end. He shows flashes, Dave, of being outstanding. Maybe the best big in this league, but just needs to continue to mature and find some consistency in his game.
Ulis to Cauley-Stein. 8-point game. 5.5 to go before the break. Jones spins off the window. Well, those are those moments that has these scouts, and many of them, a dozen or so here watching this one tonight. They're all jotting down their notes right now. Lyles to Johnson.
Right now the problem for Vanderbilt defensively is dribble penetration by Kentucky. Not able to keep the dribble in front, so let the two drop off baskets for the Cats.
Batted in the air, but Jones comes away with it. Jones just inside the arc.
Heat check?
What I say?
Feeling it now. He's knocked down a few of those jumpers, but after a spin finish and a nice little move in the post, he said, why not?
Damian Jones, 3 straight baskets for the Commodores. It'll be Kentucky basketball. Substitutions on the floor, the Harrison twins. And Lee back on the floor.
And one of the dangerous things against Kentucky is if you give up dribble penetration and that big steps up as Damian Jones does, Kentucky's just going to throw the basketball up to the rim and let one of the 7-footers go get it. The recipient that time, Willie Cauley-Stein from Tyler Ulis.
Boy, bad entry pass taken away by Vanderbilt. Ball went out to LaChance. That was going nowhere. That one just didn't look good from the get-go. Aaron Harrison throws it up right into the hands of Baldwin off the backboard. Baldwin all the way to the basket. Kentucky wants a 30-second timeout. 4-point Kentucky advantage with 3:52 to go in the opening half. And Vanderbilt only down 4. A real testament to the grit of this club after the way this game started.
Well, and it's really important, too, that you stay close and not let Kentucky get a big run at the end of a half. And Vanderbilt's been able to do that.
Let's take a look at tonight's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. How about a little defense?
Kentucky's been so active with their hands. See Willie Cauley-Stein getting on the floor. Karl-Anthony Towns getting a hand in. You cannot throw soft, arm-high passes against this Kentucky team because it usually leads to that on the other end.
Dakari Johnson getting a lot of minutes tonight. A sophomore out of Brooklyn, New York. Dakari with 6 points, a couple of rebounds. The Harrisons have combined for no points tonight. Played just a total of 14 minutes And Aaron back on the bench as Booker checks back in after that timeout. And then the traveling violation. That is 7 Kentucky turnovers. Vanderbilt hanging on here in Rupp. 3:31 to go before halftime. Thank you. I like the three-piece from Will tonight.
Strong.
Yeah, good. You know what? No three-piece suit, but he is wearing a microphone for us tonight. That's Coach Cal. Let's listen into his prior timeout.
If I'm taking a group out because guys aren't playing, be mad at those guys. Say something to them. I'm staying. I'm staying. Get into it, bench. Clap for these guys.
Tell you what, Kentucky started off gangbusters. It's reminiscent almost of what happened here against Ole Miss when Kentucky got off to a pretty substantial lead, 10-12, nothing, something like that, and Ole Miss hung in there, and we all know the outcome of that went to overtime. Fisher Davis got an air ball. They started 12-4. Tonight was the score. Johnson fouled on the way up. Free throws for Dakari.
Good drive and dish by Andrew Harrison. Getting out in transition. Baldwin never got him stopped. He got all the way to the elbow. Allowed for the drop-off inside to Dakari Johnson. And it's so important for Kentucky to let their energy on the defensive end drive what they do offensively. They've had a slow stretch tonight, Dave, where they've struggled in the half court, a little sloppy with the basketball. When that happens, they've got to find a way to play through the post, establish themselves on the interior, and play inside-out basketball, which they did a really nice job of on the road against Alabama.
Yeah, they blistered the Crimson Tide in the second half of that game in Tuscaloosa. 2 fouls on Cornette, so he heads to the bench. Kentucky's bench has scored 18 of their 27 points tonight. Oh, how about Lyles guarding LaChance? Got fouled and counted. A 2-point basket for Riley LaChance. He will now step to the line to try to complete the 3-point play.
Textbook shot fake. A little extra leg kick. Couldn't tell from that angle if he really got hit or not. It's a crafty player. Talking to Kevin Stallings earlier today. Said he was concerned that this young man might not be able to defend at this level. Might have got him just a touch on the end of the follow-through, but really not much. Maybe more of an acting job by LaChance. He's turned out not only to be a solid defender, but an outstanding offensive player for Kevin Stallings as a freshman.
Here's Cauley Stein. Eulis.
Good one-on-one defense by Jones to hold his ground against Johnson.
Oh, nice ball handling. And a blocking foul underneath against Siakam as Andrew Harrison will head to the free throw line. That'll be the second on James.
Nice split on the ball screen by Harrison. Comes off that in attack mode and sees the big hedge by Jones and able to split it right to the basket.
Boy, Kentucky at the line, 5 of 9 tonight. A team that on the year shoots 69%. That's 8th in the league. 169th in the country.
And for Vanderbilt to finish this half strong, Dave. Don't need any turnovers like that.
Booker lays it in. Kentucky now shooting over 50% from the field. And their lead has been up to 6 at the 2:03 mark.
Anytime you're on the road, you got to protect the basketball and finish half strong. James Siakam gets it swiped away from him. Leads to an easy basket for Kentucky. Vanderbilt's got to be careful this lead doesn't turn into double digits here in the last 2 minutes heading into halftime.
Well, we've got some women's basketball coming your way. An outstanding matchup begins. A top 25 showdown between 22nd-ranked Georgia as they try to pull the upset against the 5th-ranked Lady Vols. Then 14th-ranked Kentucky. They'll head to Columbia, Missouri to take on the sharpshooting Tigers at 4 o'clock Eastern, only on the SEC ESPN Network, and watch ESPN. Well, a 6-point advantage for Kentucky, now shooting 52% from the field. This Vanderbilt team at 37%, but only trail by 6. So the numbers for Kentucky just staggering. Opponents only average 50 points a game. They shoot 31% from the field, 26% behind the arc. A foul against Cauley Stein. That'll be his first. Team 6th. Here's Siakam, gets it to Jones. Boy, Jones had a good couple of minutes. 3 straight baskets for Vanderbilt. Inside to Jones. Turns on Johnson.
Good possession for Vanderbilt. They didn't get the basket, but they used some clock, made Kentucky play defense. They got a post touch for their best player right at the front of the rim. Just didn't finish it.
Here's Booker, free throw line jumper. Needs to step outside the arc.
Well, he never got his feet under him. You know, one of the reasons he's shooting so well from beyond the arc is he's taking great shots, and on most of them, he's got his feet set and is stepping in on balance. If you're a good shooter, you're going to make those at a much higher percentage.
20 of his last 28 he has made from behind the arc. That was an elbow line, LaChance. That's going to be a flagrant one. The elbow caught him in the jaw. Joe DeRosa wastes little time signaling flagrant one.
Kentucky has been riding definitely Riley LaChance. Cracked Booker with his elbow when he swung through to clear the ball. No question about it. Vanderbilt likes to run that action where they utilize the sideline and come with the back screen or ball screen from the big, but Kentucky's been able to force them out a little too deep right against the sideline, and it's created some problems for Vandy.
Some free throws coming up for Kentucky as you look at the difference between the flagrant one and the flagrant two. Obviously, the biggest aspect of the flagrant two is you're heading to the locker room, but that certainly falls into the flagrant one category. And, you know, there's been such a crackdown on any contact with an elbow above the shoulders in college basketball.
It's really just become automatic when that happens. You see LaChance, he definitely clears through. Connects with Booker pretty good. I'm not sure LaChance is quite big enough to create that kind of flop, but there's no question that Booker got hit in the mouth. And don't let that young man fool you, Dave. He looks like well, we don't have paper boys anymore, but he looks like an 8th grade player. He is an absolute assassin on the court, incredible toughness, really good under pressure, has been big in games for Vandy all year.
So Booker gets both free throws, and Kentucky will have the basketball.
Could end up being a really big play. You go from being 6 down with a chance to score to now 8 down, and Kentucky has the basketball and could extend this thing to double digits.
And now they match their largest lead of the game. Cauley Stein had his pass intercepted by Damian Jones, and then he reaches in for the foul.
We talked a lot about Kentucky's bigs and their activity on the defensive end, but Damian Jones, Dave, has been just as active, created a lot of deflections on the interior, and done a nice job for Vanderbilt in the paint on the defensive end.
So a 1-and-1 situation for Damian Jones. Second foul on Cauley Stein. Damian Jones, 5th in the conference in scoring, 7th in rebounds, 2nd in field goal percentage, 6th in block shots, just shot an air ball. He is really struggling mentally with the free throws right now.
And Dave, you said it, that's all it is mental. He just hit a jumper with a hand in his face from about 17 feet. He's a 70% shooter before the Mississippi State game and just really struggling right now. Fundamentally, as a coach, I would tell him right now, stay on the line. He looks like he's fading back at 7 foot. Stay in your shot, hold your follow through.
Those would have been huge for Vanderbilt just from a confidence standpoint. Instead, Kentucky has a chance to take this to double digits.
And this is a young Vanderbilt team. This possession very big in terms of the momentum they take into halftime.
Well, Kevin Stallings told his guys, go foul Marcus Lee. He's a 26% foul shooter. So they'll send Lee to the free throw line. He is 4 out of 15 on the year. What do you think about that strategy?
I like it. I think more teams should do it. Got a chance statistically for this guy to go 1 for 2 and only give up 1 point, and you are guaranteed to get the basketball back. They got a chance in theory to maybe get 3, especially a team like Vanderbilt who shoots it well.
If he goes 1 for 2, he's overachieved based on the stats. And he got it.
You know, if you're a player, you got to take some personal pride in that a team went after you and fouled you because they don't think that you can make it, step to the line, and make them pay.
We have been to practice, and he takes a ton of free throws. He's been actually sitting in a chair at the free throw line trying to make some. And got 1 out of 2. So at the end of the day, his percentage is going up. 9-point game. Vandy can hold for the final shot if they so choose. A couple of freshmen going at it. Booker and LaChance. Riley hangs in the air. Got it to go.
Big time pull up by Riley LaChance.
At half court, Ulis. Big bucket for the Commodores. But Kentucky has the lead after 20 minutes of play. The Kentucky bench, the story tonight, 23 of their 33 points. And they'll lead at the break 33-26. Let's go to Kaylee Hartung.
Coach, you were seemingly frustrated with your team's effort at times during the half. How do you feel about it now?
Well, you know what? Again, they scored 26-2 at the buzzer. Our offense, we're still not strong with the ball. We're still not attacking the middle of the lane. We're still not making extra passes. We went pick and roll late, and the guy's wide open. We don't make that pass. Those are things we got to get in check.
Where do you want to see the greatest improvement in the second half?
We just want to continue with energy. If we defend, we'll be fine.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, well, this club shoots 52% from the floor. They hold Vanderbilt to 36, and they lead by 7. Time for us to send it to the studio. Here's Peter Burns.
All right, thanks, guys. Coach Cal.
One-ranked team in the country take a 7-point lead. Moments away from second half hoops. Dave Neal, Darren Horn, glad you could stay with us. And impressions of that first half.
I think Kentucky got off to the start they wanted because of their defense, but then their offense lagged. And give Vanderbilt credit for fighting back to get into this one. And a big key was Damian Jones and Riley LaChance, especially in the last 5 minutes.
Boy, what Kentucky did get off to a great start here tonight, though.
Well, they really did. And you see Riley LaChance getting loose for a 3. Leading freshman scorer in the SEC, and Damian Jones with a spectacular finish. It's a talented big as there is in the SEC, but Kentucky's defense was really the difference. Not very good offensively in the half court, but their solid defense led to some easy baskets on the other end, and that's why they're holding on to a 7-point lead right now at the half.
Take a look at those first half stats. Kentucky shoots 50% from the floor. They're 4th in the conference, right around 46% on the year. But it was the bench, the white unit for Kentucky, that really did most of the damage.
Well, the bench was outstanding. A big part of that, Dakari Johnson, who really established himself on the interior, 3 for 6 for 8 points. It's going to be important for Kentucky to pound it inside early on. Don't settle for perimeter jump shots. Establish yourself in the half court in the paint.
And that white unit, the second platoon, will start the second half. Ulis, Lee, Johnson, Lyles, and Booker on the floor. For Vanderbilt, they'll go with Baldwin, LaChance, Jones, Cornett, and Roberson. Let's see if Vanderbilt can play a little bit better the first couple of minutes here in the second half than they did in the opening half. Ulis, a floater in the lane, won't go. Cornett had his hands on it, and another chance for Kentucky. Booker, pull-up jumper, too strong. A third opportunity on this possession. Blocked by Jones, right into the hands of Baldwin. Kevin Stallings talking to us today about lack of offensive efficiency lately for this Vanderbilt team. What did you think about the first half as Roberson gets it?
I think other than the turnovers and some sloppy basketball handling Kentucky's pressure, they executed well, got some good looks, played through Damian Jones, which is what they want to do. And what we just saw from Baldwin is what has to happen. You've got to be able to finish some one-on-one plays driving the ball against this Kentucky team.
Cornette left it short, but here's a second chance opportunity now for the Commodores. Coach Cal doesn't waste much time getting that platoon off the bench. Ball went inside. Jones spins, lays it in off the backboard. 3-point game.
Well, that's what you've got to do. Vanderbilt likes to play off of that sideline. Kentucky's taking that away. If they're going to do that, there's driving lanes. You got to put your shoulder down and drive the basketball. Baldwin did that. Was able to find his big buddy on the interior, Damian Jones. This is his second big-time spin and finish on the night. The sophomore from Vandy.
It is down to 3. 18-10 to go in the second half. Right before the start of the half, Kaylee Hartung had a chance to catch up with Kevin Stallings. And Kaylee, what was the mood coming out of that Vandy locker room?
Well, Dave, the Commodores have got to give their defense a chance to play. That's what Kevin Stallings told me. Just as we heard Coach Cal frustrated with the effort out of his offense, Stallings was very pleased with the effort of his defense that held the Wildcats to 33 points at the end of the first half and now nearly 2 minutes into the second. He says we've got to keep going after those rebounds. We've got to stay aggressive so we can get out in transition and let our offense get to work.
Well, Kayla, that last basket by Vanderbilt was their first second chance basket of the evening. Kentucky has started 0 for 4, making 0 for 5 here in the second half.
You're not going to get a better look than that. Lyles just sailed it over the rim.
Little run out by Kentucky. Harrison to his brother. Layup is good. Aaron Harrison with his first basket of the game.
It definitely helped Kentucky to get Aaron Harrison going. And again, transition points. A big part of what Kentucky's been able to do to maintain this small lead.
Ball went out of the corner, no good. Rebound to Lyles. Cauley Stein. Jones has it, gets it up to LaChance. Riley back to Cornette, he'll try again. Off the back of the iron, he left his last couple of threes short. That one was too long.
We've heard John Calipari talk about multiple times. This is the area Kentucky needs to make the most improvement. Executing in the half court.
4 on the shot clock. Cauley Stein in the lane. Little running hook, no good. Did hit the iron, but Towns was on the baseline. Well, Wednesday, the SEC ESPN Network brings you an SEC basketball double dip. First, Missouri on the road, trying to look for that upset of Texas A&M at 7 o'clock Eastern. Then Mississippi State and Auburn take the court at 9 o'clock Eastern time, exclusively on the SEC ESPN Network and the Watch ESPN app. Head over to College Station after this one. Our first look at the Aggies. Coming off that big win for Texas A&M. One of those wake up some folks around the country.
And they've got 2 guys that can play with anybody in Jalen Jones and Daniel House, and they were terrific, combining for 38 the other night.
And the win over LSU on the road. Here's the chance. Now guarded by Towns. Now Jones got a little mismatch size-wise, but then he turned right into a couple of big boys in Lee and Towns. Fisher Davis steps in front of the Lyles pass and knocks it out of bounds. That'll get us to our under 16 media timeout. Defense, defense, defense. Kentucky leads the country in blocks at almost 8 a game.
You got to take responsibility how you're playing. Some of you want to blame, but they're not blaming anybody but you. You're the only one blaming somebody else. So what I would do is play. You got the shooter, and he sets a screen. You're on him.
I got screened.
No. You helped this way, and then you didn't go. Did you scream at the guy to come out? Okay.
Coach Cal coaching him up. SEC Wired. Glad he's wearing a mic tonight. It's been great.
And so much of coaching is not just the X's and O's. We saw it right there in that Wired segment. It's talking about being accountable, being responsible for how you play. We saw Trey Lyles maybe try to get out of that one on the defensive side, and Cal made it clear, no, you didn't do what you need to do. It's a big part of coaching. It's not just calling plays and defenses.
Lyles can't get it. Jones with that rebound. That is the fourth carom for Damian Jones to go with his 8 points.
And he's got to find a way to get Riley LaChance loose on the offensive end, get that young man some touches.
Here's a takeaway. Harrison back the other way, off to Lyles. Missed the layup, but the follow by Lee. Fisher Davis threw it away. Let's check in with Kaylin.
Well, Dave, following up on what you heard from Coach Cal in that Wired segment, I'm told during halftime in the Cats locker room, no strategy was discussed. It was all about ensuring that his guys understand the energy and the effort they must give if they want to be an elite team.
Kaylee, I can't. I don't know, I've been here. I've been with Kentucky since their trip to the Bahamas, and that has been the message he has been preaching. Energy and effort. I mean, it has been over and over. And there's a little bit of energy and a little bit of effort. The throwdown by Lee.
Well, and right now it's Marcus Lee that's providing that energy on the defensive end, and then they're receiving the lob pass for the dunk.
Largest lead of the games. But free throws coming up now for Vanderbilt to cut into this.
See Aaron Harrison able to drop his shoulder and get in the paint. You cannot lose contact with Kentucky bigs. Siakam got caught in what I call no man's land, Dave. He wasn't really up giving good help on the pass, and he didn't stay at home and take away. When you do that, they are throwing it up to the rim, and someone's going to finish it.
Fisher Davis misses the free throw. Vandy now 4 out of 9 at the line. Siakam back to the bench. And Fisher Davis gets 1 out of 2. An 80% foul shooter coming into the game tonight. 8-point game. Boy, good post up by Towns. There's Lee. Been active tonight. Now gets a fist pump from his coach.
Jones went to block the shot from the weak side. Vandy's guards not big enough to contend with the weak side bigs that Kentucky has. That's a luxury Kentucky has on their defensive end. They can go try to block that shot, and they've got a 6'10" guy rotating down inside to clean up the glass.
It's an 8-1 Kentucky run.
Watch Jones go to try to block it. No guards drop down inside to block out Marcus Lee, and even if they do, they're going to be outmanned. It's a great example on the flip side of why Kentucky is so good on the glass. Their guy dropping down is usually about 6'10".
Fournette just can't buy a bucket. He's 0 for 5 tonight. Going baseline to Lee. Back to Harrison. He'll fire for 3. In and out. Tapped around, knocked out of bounds by Lee. It'll belong to Vanderbilt. First time we've seen a double-digit lead tonight. How do you try to get LaChance some looks?
I think you got to use him as a screener first. Have him be the screener. That's the man that can often get open.
Hold on, Towns.
Good job of isolating Damian Jones in the post at the front of the rim. Makes it harder to double when he's in the middle of the floor.
Vanderbilt's missed their last 5 shots and one of their last 7 overall. Vandy had cut this to 3 here to start the second half. So Towns to the bench, Johnson back on the floor.
The issue is not stopping Kentucky. Only 41 points with 13 minutes left to go. The issue is, can you score and keep them from continuing to stretch the lead? You can't stop a run if you don't get a bucket.
Damian Jones spins. Got it to go.
That stopped it.
First player and for either team in double figures tonight is Damian Jones now with 10. Harrison to Lee. Bakari Johnson won't go, but a foul underneath. That's going to be whistled against Cornette.
Jones gets the ball at the front of the rim. Again, one of the reasons that's so important. It's hard to double a man when he's in the middle of the floor, because where does the double come from? Good execution. Starting to learn to play through some contact, Damian Jones, and finish in traffic.
One more.
Bakari Johnson knocks home the front end. Siakam back on the floor. Cauley-Stein, Lyles, Booker, Ulis, and Johnson, the 5 for Kentucky. Baldwin with chance. Jones, Fisher Davis, and Siakam for the Commodores. Here's Baldwin, 5th in the conference in assists. Jones faces up. Jump hook. That won't go. Rebound Booker. He'll bring it up the court himself. Devin 6 points on a couple of field goals and 2 free throws. Booker going baseline. Kicks it back out to Johnson. Almost a takeaway by Baldwin. Shot clock at 7. Ulis, pump fakes, got hit. 3 free throws. Kevin Stallings just turns and looks at the bench. 2 seconds on the shot clock. Timeout on the floor. 3 free throws coming up for the Cats when we come back. Let's take a look at Moving You Forward, brought to you by Regions Bank. How about some blocked shots tonight?
That's a block party in Rupp Arena, and I want everyone to see the different ways these blocks happen. In transition, straight up, coming down from the top on help. Karl-Anthony Towns not even in the picture. He's the second help guy coming from behind. This is a Kentucky team that's so dangerous defensively because of the plays they can make on the basketball. You see the numbers right there, only giving up 50 points a game. 33 tonight for Vandy. Their field goal percentage defense. Nobody shot 50% this year against them. Averaging 8 blocks. They've already got 9. And opponents' assists, that's a number that goes overlooked too many times, Dave. But people can't share the basketball and get good looks against this team because of some of the plays that we just saw.
Well, Ulis at the line to shoot 3. As you look at what the bench has done tonight, 31 points. And the bench has 8 of UK's 10 points this half. And now Kentucky has their largest lead of the game. 11:32 to go. 45-33 Cats.
So many times we talk about teams being young and what does that mean exactly from a basketball standpoint. Well, the foul that was just committed by Vanderbilt is one good example of that. On a 3-point shooter, you didn't have to foul. Good for Vandy. Fisher Davis comes back and erases that mistake.
Couple of threes for Fisher Davis tonight. 41% behind the arc. The freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Here's a takeaway. LaChance, Ulis chasing him down. Riley off the window. Boy, that wasn't easy, and he got it to go.
Yeah, that young man is a basketball player right there. Playing with the mask. Doesn't make him look any tougher physically, but mentally he's extremely tough, and he knows how to play, and he knows how to use his body. He's crafty when he gets in the paint.
5 points in 21 seconds for Vanderbilt, and a quick timeout by the Cats. Speaking of that timeout, once again, Coach Cal's mic'd up. Let's listen in on SEC Wire.
Hey, oh! Good job. Hey, hey, that's good. Great job, guys. Great job, Andrew. Hey, hey, great energy. That's all you did is you played with energy. Good job.
Part psychiatrist, part basketball coach, part defensive guru, I guess. We saw him earlier tonight, got in a defensive stance. Actually had a turnover come his way.
Got a deflection on the chart. Right. You know, but when you have a team that's this talented, one of the big keys is, can you get them to play hard, play with great energy, and play together? If you do that, good things are going to happen. And credit John Calipari for encouraging his team when it does happen.
Vanderbilt, nice little run to get back into this one. Cut it to 7. Here's Eulis. He'll back it out. Elbow jumper is good. 4 points now for Aaron.
It's a really good D by Riley LaChance. The difference, Aaron Harrison, 6'6" off the bounce.
Henderson to the basket. Reverse layup. How about the big fella who tore an ACL, MCL, and a lateral meniscus a year ago? Showing you some skill.
Tore everything.
He did.
It was a nice finish on the weak side. His teammates jacked over on the bench.
Turnover.
Don't lose the chance in transition.
There he is for 3. Got it. 4-point game. (10-2) Vanderbilt run in less than 2 minutes. Harrison for 3, answers the call.
Aaron Harrison is a big shot maker. He did it in the NCAA tournament last year, and he's done it countless times this year, even in moments like that in the middle of a game when his team needs a basket.
Mitchell batted around, taken by Cauley Stein. Up to Booker. Reverse layup. He's fouled. Free throws coming up. How about Josh Henderson, the redshirt senior?
Vanderbilt making a little run. Rolls to the basket off the ball screen. Sees Cauley Stein coming for the block. Takes it to the other side. And then you can never lose Riley LaChance in transition. They'll make you pay.
Kentucky now 13 out of 20 at the free throw line. Towns will slide into one of the block positions along with Cauley Stein. So Booker, the Harrisons, Town and Cauley Stein. Mitchell, Siakam, LaChance, Henderson, and Matthew Fisher-Davis for the Commodores. LaChance. Shot clock at 7. Josh Henderson won't go. Tapped around. Siakam had his hand on it, but here comes Willie Cauley Stein. Haven't seen Damian Jones in a while. And as I say that, he gets up off the bench and about to check back in for Vanderbilt. Shot clock under 15. Harrison lobs it up for Towns. Taken away. LaChance open again. Got it again.
I know they can't hear me, but you can't lose Riley LaChance. He's dangerous.
13 to lead everybody for LaChance. Actually 16. 3 out of 3 behind the arc.
Against Georgia in a comeback effort that fell a little bit short. He hits 4 threes inside 5 minutes. The bigger the moment, the better this young man shoots them.
4-point game. 7:24 to go, and a hand check out on the perimeter. Vandy making things tough for the Kentucky Wildcats inside of Rupp Arena. This guy, a big part of it. Riley LaChance with 3 threes.
What'd you think of their energy? Unbelievable. That's who you got to be. You go back in, that's what you're doing. Then everything else happens. You got unbelievable energy, unbelievable speed. Now we're in good shape.
Well, his Kentucky team has had some spurts of that energy, but I give a lot of credit to the guys right now wearing the black jerseys. They could have let this thing get away. They were down by 12, but they went to the 3 ball and got back in it.
Well, first Fisher Davis and then twice in transition. Riley LaChance, one of the best times to shoot a 3, Dave, in transition before the defense gets set. And LaChance has made him pay.
You see the mask, if you don't know the story, was cracked across the bridge of the nose in their last non-conference game against Yale. And wore a mask in practice that bounced all over his face. Said he really had a tough time shooting. Had to get a custom mask fit to his face. They had it overnighted and had a bunch of people had to work extra time to get it to him for the SEC opener against Auburn. They went on to win that game, but he has not let that mask bother him in the last couple of weeks. Jones with the rebound. 2-possession game. Vandy shooting 43% from the field. That's a substantial number against a team that gives up just 31% shooting to their opponents. The chance. Pump fakes. Cauley Stein pushed in the back by Jones. He'll have some free throws.
Cauley Stein gets the rebound and then leads the break. Unbelievable how Cauley Stein's able to get out in transition. He's an elite rim runner, they call him in the NBA.
We were talking about Riley LaChance. For more on that story, let's go to Kaylee.
Well, Dave, Riley LaChance brought the energy we've seen on the floor back to the huddle during that last timeout. Now, fearless is a word Kevin Stallings has used to describe LaChance. He says he really believes in himself and his ability to score the ball. He says LaChance has some dirty in him, a good dirty and some nasty. This is a player Kevin Stallings really likes.
And one of the things I like about him is a story that Kevin Stallings told us that, you know, it doesn't matter how I coach him, whether I get after him and challenge him or I'm really positive with him. His emotion is always the same, and that's emotionless. He just takes it, moves on, and makes the next play. It's a great quality for a young player to have.
Here's Mitchell driving in the lane. Up and under move off the window. They get some oohs and ahs from the 24,000 in Rupp.
We've got a 2-possession game, Dave, and keep in mind this Vanderbilt basketball team has 0 players, with the exception of a few minutes by Josh Henderson, that have ever played in this building.
And another foul. That'll go against Jones. That'll be his 3rd.
Mitchell with a nice little hesitation. Cauley Stein never fully commits to shut down the driving lane, and it allows Mitchell to get through and scoop it up off the glass.
To follow up what you just said about the lack of experience on the road in this environment, as we were at Vanderbilt's practice this morning here at Rupp Arena, one of the players walks in, has his camera video rolling, and you hear him say, "Act like you've been here before."
and they are.
Right.
This is a Vanderbilt team that's headed towards good things in the future later this year and certainly in the years to come.
Lyles picks up the foul on a hold. 30 feet from the basket. That'll be his 3rd. Booker checks in for Harrison. Aaron has 7 points, 3 of 6 from the field. Andrew, 3 points. He's 0 of 2 from the field with 3 free throws.
This may be about as small as a lineup as Kentucky's going to put on the floor, with Ulis in at the same time with Harrison and Booker, and Lyles at the 4 right now.
Boy, a scramble situation, and Mitchell stepped on the midcourt line over and back. Boy, if he'd have just been able to split it, they had numbers, a 4-on-2 back at the basket. Instead, it gives it to Kentucky.
And LaChance in the corner. Mitchell chasing down the loose ball. It's close.
Kip Kissinger right on top of that line. The turnover by Vanderbilt is their 15th of the game.
Big possession for Kentucky, Dave. These are the kind of possessions where they've got to get better in the half court, get the shot they want, get a basket, try to create a little separation here down the stretch.
Ulis backs up, fires, no good. Long rebound to Vanderbilt. Here's LaChance. Cross court to Fisher Davis. He can flat out shoot it too. Oh my goodness, the three ball is working for the Commodores here in the second half.
A three-point shooting team is never out of a game when it's 3 possessions.
Vandy 4 of 7 behind the arc this half. Here's Lyles. Henderson on him. Traveled with it. How about the minutes Josh Henderson's given Vanderbilt tonight?
Well, he's played outstanding, and that's what you want from a senior. Good for him. He's been injured. Come back again. Transition threes have been where Vandy has gotten back in this thing in the second half. Kentucky's got to get the ball stopped. They got to get out the shooters as well. And in this situation, Vanderbilt loves to, especially now that the threes are going in, get the floor spread and watch for some type of backdoor, a slip to the rim, especially from the big fella, Damian Jones.
Four of 7 behind the arc in the second half for the Commodores. They trailed 33-26 at the break. Henderson had it poked away by Cauley-Stein. Another one of those plays you don't necessarily see in the stat sheet. But that is one you will see in the stat sheet. Cauley-Stein with the baseline jumper.
And he deserved to make that jumper because he's doing the dirty work on the defensive end, and the offensive game responds well. The game will treat you right if you treat it right, Dave.
He is all over Damian Jones. Here's the chance. Inside to Jones. Trying to work, find some room. Had it blocked by Towns. Kevin Stallings can't believe there wasn't a whistle. Harrison. Kentucky will back it up. Shot clock at 5. Aaron Harrison fouled with 4 on the shot clock. Willie Cauley-Stein making another big play when Kentucky needs it most.
And getting it done with the energy we've heard John Calipari talk about on the defensive end. Cauley-Stein's effort leads to the deflection and the steal, and the game rewards him with the jumper.
Here in Lexington, 2,157 all-time wins, 16 Final Fours, 45 SEC regular season titles. This is a club trying to run the tables. When you think about the last team to do it was in 1976, that's how hard think about some of the great basketball teams that have been playing since 1976 that couldn't pull it off.
UNLV in the early 90s,
yeah.
Duke.
Even a couple of these Kentucky teams along the way. Matter of fact, Kentucky's only had one undefeated season. That was back in the 53-54 campaign. That group went 25-0. But tonight, Vanderbilt has given this Kentucky team all they can handle. Down 5 with 3:17 to play. Harrison at the free throw line. Gets that one to go down. Well, tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern, right here on the SEC ESPN Network, join our network analysts as they discuss all the SEC news of the day on SEC Now. And then Sunday, SEC ESPN Network brings you the women's basketball doubleheader. Georgia against Tennessee, and then Kentucky and Missouri It all begins at 2 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. Well, Kentucky starters have emerged here in the second half. They have scored the Cats' last 15 points. Towns picks up that foul. That'll be his 4th.
Michael Roberts explaining to Karl Anthony Towns, you put both hands on him. That's an automatic. Has to be called.
Fisher Davis. Henderson. Off to a chance. Riley. High arching 3. No good. And a foul underneath. That'll go against Kentucky. That'll go against Andrew Harrison.
Andrew Harrison battling the much bigger Henderson on the inside. It looked like two guys just battling for a rebound to me.
Fisher Davis with another 3. That's his 4th of the game and give him 13 big points.
He can shoot that thing a little bit.
Yes, and they are pure when they go in. 5 threes in the second half for the Doors now. Booker trying to answer back. Kept alive by Kentucky. Booker in the corner. Harrison got it. Every time Vandy makes a run, Aaron Harrison answers with a 3. Timeout Vanderbilt.
But it started with a great effort play first to lead to the extra possession. Vanderbilt has stayed in this basketball game because of their ability to knock down threes. Fisher Davis just kind of raises up on this one and knocks it down. And then on the other end, after the extra effort, good extra pass as well. And Aaron Harrison, I grew up in Lexington, watched Kentucky growing up, coached against them in the SEC. I don't know if there's been a player that's made more big threes than this kid.
12 points, all in the second half for Aaron Harrison. Let's listen in on Coach Calipari.
You two switched, and you had the best shooter in the house, and they were standing like this, and you were kind of like, if you switch on LeChamp, you got to be on him. You understand? I'll show you on the tape. You acted like you're looking this way. He's the guy.
Well, you've called it. You got to
but they can't hear me, so Cal had to tell him, don't lose LeChamp.
Big stretch right here. We go under 2 minutes. Here's Jones.
One of the areas Vandy takes advantage of people is their bigs handling the ball out on the floor, but Kentucky's bigs can pressure out there. It's throwing Vandy's offense off tonight.
Mitchell. Jones lost the handle, had it blocked by Towns. That one was slapped out of there, but a foul in the process. That will go against Andrew Harrison. That'll be his 2nd.
Good block on the first play by Karl Anthony Towns, and then they call the reach in on Harrison.
Jones at the line. By the way, Kentucky with 11 blocks tonight. That is 2 off their season high. They had 13 against UCLA. Jones calmly steps to the line for a guy that wasn't even close in the first half.
Shot an air ball.
Yes, looked pretty calm on that attempt.
All the tools are there for Damian Jones. Just needs to continue to mature mentally and with his consistency.
Jones with 11 points, 6 rebounds. Still a 2-possession game. 80 seconds to play. Harrison hangs in the air and lays it in. Fisher Davis in the lane. Taken out of there by Cauley Stein. That may have done it.
Tough to finish against Kentucky, driving one-on-one like that over that length. Andrew Harrison to the rack. That's 6'6". Well, there's been a lot of talk about Tyler Ulis and his impact on this team, and maybe even some talk about who's better out there. Let me tell you something. Give me 6'6", especially late game, hard charging, driving the basketball to the rim. You just saw a great example of it there.
Here's Baldwin. He throws it down. Quick timeout taken by Kevin Stallings. Now you're back to a two-possession game again. Not so fast.
And 34 seconds is a lot of time. And again, you've got a dangerous shooting team in Vanderbilt that's capable of making threes from multiple positions on the floor. Vandy with the flat ball screen, lifts everybody. Little seal on the interior by Damian Jones as Baldwin turns the corner. Of course, they're not going to help. You see Riley Jones there at the top. They're not leaving him. Left an open lane to the basket for Baldwin.
There's our game reset. Possession arrow favors Vanderbilt. Both teams shooting free throws. With 34.5 seconds remaining for Kevin Stallings' club, who, let's face it, today he was a little distraught over the way this offense. He is one of the best offensive coaches in college basketball. And there is a rhyme for everything he does, a reason for everything he does. And he didn't feel like his club was fulfilling that potential offensively today when we talked to him.
A little frustrated that maybe some teams had picked up the pressure and the physical play in the league play, and his team had kind of not fought through that and gone to the second option as you have to do in league play. But a big step tonight, win or lose, in terms of their play and playing through physical play and showing a little toughness on the road.
So Aaron Harrison will head back to the free throw line. You know, we talked about at length in the first half how the Kentucky bench was such a driving force for their lead at the break. But the starters have really emerged here in the second half. They have scored Kentucky's last 21 points.
And no two have been more important than Andrew and Aaron Harrison here down the stretch. I think sometimes fans forget those two young men helped lead this team to a national championship game last year. And though they may have been up and down during this season, those are two guys you want on the floor in late game situations because of their size and their ability to make plays.
10 guys have scored for Kentucky, but nobody's put up more than Aaron Harrison's 14. And a quick foul by Baldwin will send Lyles to the free throw line back the other way. So Kentucky looks like they're going to head to 18-0. 5-0 in league play after two blowout wins. A little bit more of a gut check today for this Kentucky team, and kudos to Vanderbilt after losing 3 in a row. Came in here ready to go. Here's what Kentucky has in store. 2-game road swing, South Carolina and Missouri. In their home for Alabama and Georgia, and then at Florida.
3 of their next 5 on the road. And again, we've heard John Calipari in the Wired segments talk about it repeatedly tonight. The key for this team is bringing energy, especially on the defensive end of the floor, and letting it fuel the rest of their play. And it's what helped them get separation tonight.
Fisher Davis misfires. Baldwin throws it up with 10 seconds. Jones tries the tap, and that will do it. Harrison will walk it out, and the Cats survive here at home. Good effort by Vanderbilt, but just not enough for the tank to get over the hump. Kentucky wins at 65-57. Our final score, the Wildcats end up shooting 43%. Vanderbilt shoots 41%. LaChance Game high 16 points for the Commodores. Aaron finishes with 14 to lead the Commodores. The Wildcats. Dakari Johnson with 10.
And really, I think the difference down the stretch was the guys that Kentucky calls veterans. The Harrison brothers and Willie Cauley-Stein came up with some big plays on both ends of the floor and really helped create some separation against a tough Vanderbilt team that really scrapped in the second half.
Well, Kaylee Hartung has corralled Coach Calipari. Kaylee?
Well, Coach, you demanded energy and effort from your team. How did you feel they responded?
Well, I thought Aaron in the second half was who he is. Andrew, I thought, played well. But when you're platooning, you can't have three guys not bring it and play and finish plays and compete at a high level, because then I got to get out of that, which is what I'd rather do, play 10 guys. But again, I thought Marcus Lee was good today. I thought he gave a great effort.
What did your team learn about the competitive nature that's necessary to earn playing time on this floor?
Well, the biggest thing is you're playing in league play now. Every game is like this. We just got to be a little bit better offensively.
Coach, your 100th game in Rupp Arena, your 96th win on this hardwood. What significance does that have for you?
Now, there's 19 draft picks that came through that time. That's kind of gives you an indication you're not losing many when you have those many good players, and we do. Same thing with this team. I have terrific players, and just trying to get them to go every day is a hard deal.
Thank you, Coach.
Well, Kentucky wins it 65-57. That's our final score. We'll head back to Lexington, have more from Rupp Arena. But first, it's time for us to send it to our SEC Network studio.